So what has changed since our last discussion, and what new clues have emerged following the release of Mortal Kombat 1? Stick around as we peel back the layers and explore this intriguing saga together. Greetings, warriors, and welcome back to another Tarkatan Bite-sized episode of the Realm Kast. I'm your host, the Mortal Kombat Phantom.
And I'm the Realm Kast's lore master, Yanni. If you caught our previous videos on this topic, you would know that we have delved deep into the speculations surrounding Mortal Kombat 1 before its release. Now, with MK1 finally out, we have even more pieces to fit into this intricate puzzle. So, let's embark on this exploration together. Since our last video on this topic, there have been many theories in the Mortal Kombat community, but one which remains is that Mortal Kombat 1, as we see it now, was a strategic pivot for NetherRealm Studios. Could it have originally been intended as another title? Perhaps Injustice 3?
But before we delve deeper into these speculations, a quick call to arms for our fellow warriors. Smash that like button and ensure you're subscribed with notifications on. Your support is very much appreciated and allows us to keep bringing you the latest and most exciting Mortal Kombat content and interviews.
To understand how this rumor gained traction, we first have to rewind the clock all the way back to the time when the WB buyout rumors were swirling around in 2020. We're talking about Warner Bros. Interactive Entertainment, the parent company of NetherRealm Studios. Huge waves were made in August 2020, where Microsoft Gaming's CEO hinted at shifts in the gaming industry. Not only was there a fleeting chance of Nintendo or Valve becoming part of the Microsoft family, but Mortal Kombat's fate could have been dramatically altered.
In August 2020, Phil Spencer, CEO of Microsoft Gaming, opened a Pandora's box of possibilities. A recent revealed email dated August 6, 2020, provides further information to the speculations. This document, currently available for viewing on Twitter via @StevenTotilo, author of Axios Gaming newsletter, is unredacted as of the moment of this recording. The email was provided as one of the documents in the FTC versus Microsoft, which unveiled Phil Spencer's candid discussion on two monumental merger and acquisition prospects. Warner Bros. Interactive, the umbrella which NRS sits, and ZeniMax. In this revelation, Spencer detailed his presentation of the acquisition to Microsoft's board of directors.
What's jaw-dropping here is that amidst these high-stakes negotiations, both Amy Hood, Microsoft's CFO, and Satya Nadella, Microsoft's CEO, were undeterred by other deals they had on the horizon. According to Spencer, they were willing to move forward with all their deals should they align favorably. However, the path to acquiring Warner Bros. Interactive wasn't entirely free from hurdles. The email highlighted a significant constraint: the absence of IP ownership. Microsoft's acquisition would lack ownership of pivotal IPs, which could impede their long-term strategic flexibility.
This revelation adds a new dimension to the speculation. What if Microsoft had acquired WBIE? Would Mortal Kombat have become an Xbox exclusive and possibly make it to PC via Game Pass? Or given the IP constraints, would it still have been a multi-platform game? It's intriguing to ponder how such corporate maneuvers could have shifted the gaming landscape.
This wasn't merely a fleeting thought. The gears at Microsoft were genuinely turning, evaluating a collaboration aimed at what they believed would be unlocking expansive opportunities for the gaming community.
Just a few years before this, many news sources speculated about the direction of NetherRealm Studios' next project. Ed Boon, in an interview, dropped hints that this forthcoming title might not be Injustice 3. These statements led to a wave of speculation, especially with Mortal Kombat 11 being NRS's most recent release. Many fans were left wondering if Injustice 3 was next on the horizon. Then in August of 2022, Giant Bomb reported insider rumors suggesting that Mortal Kombat would take precedence amidst uncertainty fueled by the corporate merging of Warner Discovery. Ed Boon later participated in a fan Ask Me Anything session, cryptically responding to questions about the status of their upcoming projects. He intriguingly mentioned, "Good, but we've got more than one pot on the stove." Fans were left speculating about the studio's activities, wondering if it involved not just Mortal Kombat 1, but potentially multiple other projects. The speculations ranged from Mortal Kombat sequel, an Injustice sequel, to even entirely new endeavors. It was a mystery if NetherRealm Studios was indeed juggling multiple projects, including Mortal Kombat Onslaught and possibly a third title. Or were the insider rumors accurate, indicating that all their focus had been redirected towards the development of Mortal Kombat 1? And just when the speculations seemed to be at their peak, the plot thickened further on May 5th, 2023, with the official announcement of the Warner Bros. Discovery merger.
With all this industry upheaval, one burning question remained. Was Mortal Kombat 1 always the plan for NRS? Or was it a creative pivot, possibly due to these larger corporate movements? The game, with its intriguing mechanics and character parallels to Injustice, certainly adds fuel to the speculative fire. But the mysteries don't end at corporate maneuvers. when it comes to the raw essence of gameplay, it's impossible not to get drawn into the vortex of speculations. Recently, these lines of distinction have become even murkier. On October 3rd, 2023, NRS announced they would be bringing the Invasions gameplay to the Injustice mobile platform, a feature strikingly akin to what we've observed in Mortal Kombat 1.
Delving into the heart of Mortal Kombat 1's latest offerings, one can't help but feel the whispers of the DC universe. Take some of Scorpion's new spear moves, eerily reminiscent of Batman's grappling prowess, or the chilling combat style of Sub-Zero that brings to mind the likes of Captain Cold or Mr. Freeze. It's not just them. From Reptile's Beast Boy-like transformations and Killer Croc look and Gator Roll to Johnny Cage's Flash-esque phasing abilities, the lines between the NetherRealm and DC Universe appear more blurred than ever. Perhaps the most intriguing are Rain's complete redesign and recharacterization along with his new staff, evoking Aquaman's trident mastery.
And Sindel, whose melodious echoes and fighting style seem to channel Black Canary, obviously excluding the levitation. And let's not forget Shao Kahn, or General Shao's, surprising switch from his iconic Wrath Hammer to an axe, mirroring Ares, as well as Reiko's combat style, which also feels reminiscent of Batman's, with his shuriken, slide attack, and parry, as well as grapples. Batman's cape glide even seems to come into play with Natara's air dashes.
While some might see these as mere coincidences, considering the characters have more to them than just the mentioned similarities, others believe they might be vestiges of an original design. Perhaps when Mortal Kombat characters were envisioned as DC superheroes. Could this have been a strategic pivot, or just a confluence of creative ideas? Whatever the case, it's hard to deny that these overlaps have set the rumor mill ablaze.
However, what truly differentiates Mortal Kombat 1 is its revolutionary cameo fighters mechanic. This fresh approach introduces partner characters, reshaping the traditional one-on-one combat, drawing similarities to team dynamics in titles like Marvel vs. Capcom. Is this a sign of NRS's broader creative ambitions, perhaps even hinting at collaborations beyond Mortal Kombat? Or, now here's a thought to chew on, if Mortal Kombat 1 was initially Injustice 3, the cameo mechanic would align perfectly with a superhero sidekick dynamic. Imagine the possibilities. In an interview with GameSpot early on into Mortal Kombat 1's initial reveal, Ed specifically said that their design team wanted to have individual things like a drone for Sonya, or something like the cat with Atrocitus in Injustice 2 that would come out and help you.
Now, this is interesting because he's mentioned both Injustice and Mortal Kombat here, when it's clearly on the topic of one specific game, implying that Injustice was possibly in discussion or even development at some point.
This is furthered by the fact that a drone for Sonya was mentioned, and yet she isn't playable, but instead is a cameo fighter, at least as of now. In fact, this was specifically addressed by Ed Boon, albeit very minimally, in an interview with IGN. Questioned on whether or not Injustice 3 was considered, and the reasoning behind going right back into a successive MK game, Ed stated, "There was a number of factors, some of which I can talk about, some of which I probably shouldn't. But we did go to a new graphics engine, Unreal. We really wanted to be careful with COVID and all that stuff and everybody staying safe. So there were a bunch of variables involved that eventually made us realize, okay, let's do another Mortal Kombat game and hopefully we'll get back to the Injustice games." It is also made very clear in the actual interview that a new Injustice game is very much still a possibility for the future.
In January of 2023, Derek Kurtzik, NetherRealm's chief system designer, provided valuable insights during a Mortal Kombat 1 preview event. He mentioned that one of the main reasons the company wanted to make another Mortal Kombat game was due to how Mortal Kombat 11 concluded. After Mortal Kombat 11's Aftermath DLC was released, Kurtzik stated that many NetherRealm developers were thrilled about the prospect of continuing the tale in a different way. Additionally, Kurtzik exclaimed that the studio's new game engine pushed them to make Mortal Kombat 1, since it seemed logical to make a new Mortal Kombat game first using the available next-generation technology. For those who are unaware, previous games were based on Unreal Engine 3, as well as a heavily modified version, but Ed says that Unreal 4 was used for Mortal Kombat 1, as it opened the doors to let a lot of new features in that they were really trying to exploit.
This transition might also be indicative of timing concerns. Gaming Bolt's article on Ed's words with IGN reads, "Doing Injustice 3 first would have meant a longer gap between Mortal Kombat games than the developer was comfortable with. Originally launching with Injustice 3 might have extended the hiatus between Mortal Kombat titles. Could this hint at the possibility that the early stages of MK1 were actually conceptualized as Injustice 3? Warriors, another riveting piece of the Mortal Kombat 1 puzzle lies in its introduction mechanics, which seem to be heavily influenced by a beloved feature from the Injustice series. If you've ever delved into the world of Injustice, you're undoubtedly familiar with the iconic clash mechanic. As two characters lock gaze, a brief dialogue ensues, allowing players a tantalizing moment of strategy. This dialogue isn't just for cinematic flair, it serves a dual purpose. Players choose a power level to bet against their opponent, turning the tide of battle based on their decisions. Now, in Mortal Kombat 1, we see a mechanic eerily reminiscent of this. Characters face off in a brief pre-fight exchange, a nod perhaps to Injustice's clash mechanic. While Mortal Kombat 1's iteration may not involve the same strategic depth of betting power levels, it crafts an atmospheric tension between the fighters, setting the stage for the brawl to come. And it is also worth noting that the pre-fight dialogue has switched from 3 lines in previous Mortal Kombat games to only 2. The question arises, is this merely a homage, or a sign of deeper gameplay integrations from Injustice, whether that be the release second or an in-development third game, into Mortal Kombat? Are the developers subtly blending elements from both franchises to craft a richer gameplay experience? These aren't mere gameplay shifts though. Observant fans have noted distinct changes in Mortal Kombat 1's graphical tones, compared to its predecessors. Could resource constraints or strategic redirections have caused NRS to transition gears?
With all this industry shakeup, you can't help but wonder, was Mortal Kombat 1 always what NetherRealm Studios had in mind, or did they switch gears due to the broader corporate game board? The game's mechanics and characters, oddly enough, make you think of Injustice, and here's the kicker. Ed Boon recently spoke at a New York Comic-Con where he shared some real gems. He revealed that Omni-Man was added to Mortal Kombat 1 after he watched the first episode of Invincible. But get this, he also mentioned that they thought about having Omni-Man in Injustice. So it makes you wonder, were their original plans to have him in Injustice 3, which then morphed into what we now know as Mortal Kombat 1? With characters like Homelander and Peacemaker joining the Mortal Kombat 1 roster, it's hard not to think that perhaps these characters were initially planned for Injustice. What's going on behind the scenes? Could Mortal Kombat 1 have started life as Injustice 3? Even major news publications like GameRant.com have pointed out how the ending of Mortal Kombat 1 aligns more with DC Universe than with the Mortal Kombat universe. Given that DC already welcomes other universes in its animated films and comic books, and since Mortal Kombat 1 has shown NetherRealm's openness to such an absurd idea, it is clear that Mortal Kombat 1 is taking some heavy inspiration from the DC Universe with its embracing of multiple timelines, as their stories have parallels not just to various comics such as Crisis on Infinite Earths, but also even with their approaches to the final chapters of the games where you choose your ending. A recent article from thegamer.com points out that through data miners, it has been revealed that Jean-Claude Van Damme's voice work was done during the pandemic and had to be done remotely, meaning that it was likely between 2020 and 2021, making it unlikely that NetherRealm suddenly switched gears to Mortal Kombat 1 at the last possible minute. With Mortal Kombat 1's 2023 release, we might have yet to see the realization of these multiple projects, unless of course they were referring to Mortal Kombat Onslaught, the 2023 mobile game. But wouldn't NetherRealm Studios hire out their mobile team to work on such a project? In October of 2023, Dominique Giancialo, the story director at NRS, tweeted that it took a full studio effort to bring fans Mortal Kombat Onslaught, the new Mortal Kombat mobile game. This raises the question, could this have been the multiple projects to which Ed was referring, or could there have been a third project that the studio was trying to get off the ground? With that being the case, it's possible that NRS's development team was just stretched too thin with multiple projects, and resources were then later diverted to Mortal Kombat 1, potentially resulting in a game riddled with bugs and glitches.
The enigma that is Mortal Kombat 1 presents us with an intriguing mix of game mechanics and character designs that resonate with the Injustice universe. New additions like the cameo fighters and the reminiscent introduction mechanics only amplify the intrigue.
Is this an intentional homage, or is this the result of multiple projects being consolidated into one which is more manageable for a studio fighting for its place in the greater landscape of corporate buyouts?
Microsoft's potential monumental moves in 2020, combined with Ed Boon's cryptic teases, make us wonder if the original vision for Mortal Kombat 1 differed from its final form. While clues and parallels abound, concrete evidence remains elusive. Yet, this is the heart of being a Mortal Kombat devotee, to explore, speculate, and embrace every facet, even those shrouded in mystery. Warriors, the Realm beckons. Dive into the comments with your insights and theories. Subscribe to the Realm Kast, ring that bell, and let's journey together through the ever-evolving world of Mortal Kombat.